Hello, I'm here to present to you an optimized approach for your disease feature construction for your final project regarding cancer prediction using all of us. Last time I showed you a technique of using BARD and the SNOMED relationship table to create your feature selection or feature construction rather. However, the SNOMED table is so huge and the techniques required to traverse it is so complex that the servers crash on me all the time. So I created, we created this approach so that you can get things done and finish your work. It is faster and more efficient in the long run compared to waiting and then debugging any issues that you may find for the solution that uses the SNOMED relationship table. It also includes all diseases for the body system, and this will provide more information for your models. However, this approach will require you to exert upfront effort when you're creating the SNOMED body system disease set. It is a bit tedious, but I will guide you step by step on how to create the data set so that you can also create it for your own cancer. And so, without further ado, let's begin. So the first thing that you want to do is log on to all of us and go to your workspace and then find the concept set that you use to create your disease dataset. So here, my concept set that I used was the concept set has disease. I click on that. So it will show me that I've selected the disease. What I'm interested in is this button on the right, view hierarchy. Click on that. It will show you the tree for the disease, all the diseases in all of us, and there's no med codes. I would like you to scroll down, okay, and find this this order of this order by body site. Expand that. Scroll down again inside this order of body site, and you will see. Sorry, this order by body system. We are interested in that. So just expand that. Okay, and then finally find your body system. For our demo, we will use breast cancer. So we will look at this order of breasts. Okay, and this is where the tedious thing starts. Okay, so what we will do is we will expand this order of breasts and all the other um, branches below this order of breasts. Okay, just like this. So we will expand it, expand it until you reach the very end of, of this tree. Why? Because we will copy all of these and then create our data set based on that copy. I was trying to find a more structured data set if there's a more structured data set available so that we can get all the child of of a certain body system disease, but I was unsuccessful to do so. And this is um, the more systematic approach that I can create to do it. So we will just um, go at it and click at those arrows until we get to the end. Okay. Uh, so assuming, just for the sake of time, that we have gotten to the end, we will scroll back up, okay, to this order of breasts. and then highlight that, and then scroll all the way down, all the way down, highlight everything, scroll all the way down. Okay, so when you got to disorder of cardiovascular system for my particular disorder, you're um, you're you're already at the end. And then I click copy, Control C. I open an Excel file and then paste it. Okay, so that's step one of our process. We'll move on to step two, which is creating the um, data set that we need. Okay, let's proceed with step two. Just like a good cooking show, I have a prepared data set that contains all of the breast cancer disease. So this is already a data set that um, where I expanded all of those branches. So you can see that for this particular data set, there's more than 1,000 rows, 1,700 rows. Um, don't no need to fret. Um, it will help us in the long run. So what we need to do now, when you paste it, is that let's make sure that all the texts are visible because there's a hidden text. So every third row has a hidden text. Okay, and then we add a row on the top. Okay, so that we can have row names. So I'll call the first row as pasted. So these are the pasted. This is the pasted row, and then let's inspect the data. We can see that the SNOMED code is listed first, then the description of that, and then a number of how many participants in all of us has that code. Okay, so we only need the SNOMED code. We don't need these two. Okay, so the approach that I thought of is to find these first rows out of every three rows. Okay, so how do we do that? We'll create another column. Let's call it row for the row number. Um, we'll show it like as row of of the previous cell, right? Okay, and then take that all the way down. Okay? So what I do in Windows is I press Shift and then press page down so I can scroll a lot of cells at a time, and it will speed up the process. Uh, for Mac, there might be a different approach. Okay, and now I Control V. Okay, and then now we want to know whether this particular row is contains the SNOMED code. Okay, what we can see is that it happens every time, every third row, right? Every first row of every first row of a group of three, right? So and the approach that I created was I get the row number, right, and then they reduce that by two because that's the so that I get the index. I want my index to start at zero, so I get index equal to this one minus two, okay, and then I create is SNOMED code row question mark. So is this a SNOMED code row? How will I know it? I will know it if the row the index is divisible by zero. This equal to this and is the index is divisible by three. Number three. Okay, so I will do that. How do I do this? So if equals to if index, or if the modulo or the remainder of index divided by 3 is equal to 0, that means it's divisible by 3, I will return 1. That's the row that I need. Otherwise, I will return 0. Okay? And then finally, if a snowmed row is 1, then I'll put in another column code that is equal to if this is 1 equal to 1, then I'll get this. I'll get the snowmed code that I pasted. Otherwise, I'll just create a blank. Okay. Let's test on the first 6 rows if it works. And it works, right? So now we can just paste this formula for everything. So again, I'll press shift and then page down so that it will be fast. Now, I want to um, get this row, duplicate it, but only get the values, right? Paste values, and then I can now delete this, and we can now filter. Okay, but before we filter, we make sure that um, the column, uh, the cell format is correct. We will need a number with 0 decimal places and no separators. Okay, and so we have it. Okay. And now we will use a feature in the data column of Excel um, to remove duplicates. So there's a remove duplicates here. We just remove the duplicates. Expand. I will expand the selection and remove the duplicates. I just need it for code and then okay. Of course, there will be a code blank. We will just delete that. And there we are. We have all the unique SNOMED codes for the breast disease. So what I will do is create a new uh, sheet, okay, and then I'll call that sheet breast disease, right? And then just copy the entire column. Okay. And finally, I will go to File. I will go to Save As, and then I will save it as a CSV file, and then save it. Um, I will save it as a SNOMED code, SNOMED disorder of breast. That's in my file name. I already have that file name. Save it, and then I'll just say that yeah, I only need one sheet to be saved as that. And then let's look at um, okay. So now if I will look at my desktop, here I have file that we need in a CSV format. Okay, so just don't save it. Let's retain that as a CSV format. Maybe a better idea will be to open it in Notepad. And there you go. It's what we need. Okay. Now I will show you how we can use this data set with an optimized code and the results of my code so far. Going back to all of us, open your notebook and upload the data set that we have just created. To do that, you go to File, click on Open, and then um, select the folder that you want. You can put it in the main folder. I usually just create a data folder, and then click Upload, click OK, and then to the browse to the file that we have just created. Okay? So we have just created this snowman. This, it's a snowman codes for this folder of breast. Okay, I'll open that and then I will upload. But I have already uploaded that, so I will cancel this. Now the magic happens in the code. Remember, the previous code was so complicated and I was not able to demonstrate that it worked. Now I will be able to demonstrate to you that it worked up to the point of binarization of the data. So it really works now. So first, you will load the new CSV file that we created, the body system disorders that we created into the DF SNOMED using read CSV. You will get code column and assign that to disease groups. So remember in our last code, we have a disease groups that we manually created. This time, we will reuse disease groups, but instead of that manually created vector, we will just use the column, the only column of the dataset that we created. Okay. And without changing anything from the previous code, we can just use this code so that we can fill the disease group column using um, using the SNOMED ID. If the SNOMED ID is part of the disease, is part of the disorder of breast system. Okay, we can next we will change any missing values of disease group to 0. That will be our catch-all disease group. Will 0 will denote a non-breast system disease. Okay, and we will further um, aggregate the data frame and group them by person ID and disease group. This will make the subsequent data processing of this huge data set again more optimized. We just check at the statistics of the disease group, and we can see that there's 149,000 records that are diseased for not for non-breast body system, right? And then there's 10,000 records for this disease group, and so on and so forth. Okay? Finally, we will be able to create dummy variables um, using the disease group columns, and it will result to this table. Once we have that binary table, we can left join that to our main analysis data frame. And we can see here there's a lot of missing values. Just to double check, I will only get the head if the disease group column for disease group 0 or non-breast disease is not null or not missing. And we can see that it's actually joined correctly. So there you go. It works. You can go on to your further tasks such as imputing missing values and creating your models. So good luck and thank you. Bye.